guys, what's going on? So we're going to touch base on a kind of topic that's really relevant at the minute, and it's peak week. You know, there's loads of shows happening at the minute, loads of people competing, and peak week's always going to be one of them topics where it's very interesting. Like, I've been obsessed with it for years, and there's so many different mixed reviews, mixed opinions, and so many people messing up their physique on the final week. So what is the aim for peak week? Like, number one thing, there's one key thing going on the peak week where you need to make sure this is a non-negotiable. You got to be shredded. You got to be fat free. If you're not, there's very little work you can do peak week to kind of make the physique look any better. You know, body fat needs to be off. So we're taking that out of the equation. Body fat, that's basically done before we even come to peak week. So if your prep has been successful, the body fat's going to be off. So that is the key, is getting shredded. We go into peak week shredded. Basically, what is our goal? Our goal is to basically get as full as possible and then get as dry as possible. So you're bringing a full dry package onto the stage. Now here's where loads of people miss the mark on this factor. You know, there's so much different mixed views out there and so much mixed information out there. It gets very hard to digest for some people. So a lot of people will try and fill up and dry out at the same time. Two completely separate processes, which I always like to keep completely separate in their stages. So basically, and recently we've added the fat loading phase. Very popular. Obviously, Joe Physiques, he ran it with me, and since then I see a huge benefit to it, and obviously the science backs it up as well. So obviously within the muscle, to be completely filled, there's space in there for fat storage or intercellular triglycerides. So we want to make sure that they're filled up. Now, if you're in a prep and you've been dieting on a prep, chances are that dietary fats is probably low near the end when we're bringing calories down. So these cells will be depleted to an extent. So there's two things here. Obviously, one, we want to load the muscle with fat, fill out the space intercellular. Number two, we're also priming the body, insulin sensitivity for the body, because obviously on these days of fat loading, we're going to pull carbs right back. We're going to run high fats, zero carb, and again, the body's going to be super sensitive, ready to absorb the carbs on the carb load. So my recommendation is it is very person dependent, and this is like a generic kind of template. So minimum of 2 days fat loading, depending on the person, maybe we put on a third day fat loading, and then again you've got the option then to move on to like a carb load where you could do 2 really high days. Again, values is going to be person dependent, or you could do 3 days moderate. Now recently I've done a peak week with Dave, my client Dave. We brought him on, absolutely nailed, and I opted to do 2 days fat load with him, and we did 3 day carb with him. Now we did 2 very high days, and we did a third day of slightly lower, and then the day before the show is the drying out phase. So the carb up, so basically the stages is fat load at the start of the week, then we carb load, then we dry out. And the aim in the carb load is keep a tight in the physique. You're keeping a tight in the physique. You're carb loading until you start to see spillage. Now there's 2 ways to track the spillage. Obviously visual aspect, where you see the physique start to spill in areas. Now it's not going to spill over everywhere, but the parts where you hold like the most wee fat cells, like say like the sides, the glutes, or everybody's going to be different here, but you will start to see areas of the physique starting to smooth out, and that's you're holding more water, extracellular in them areas. So that's one key factor. Another one is we can use a blood glucose meter to basically detect blood sugars, and when we start to see them rising, again, it's another indication that the muscle cells are filled. So there's a few wee factors there, but visually, if you've got a good eye on you and you've got good experience with a client, obviously over the following weeks, the weeks coming into the show, you have a good idea what carbs they need to stay full. So we've fat loaded, we've carved up, slightly spilled, and I mean slightly. Good eye here is just you don't want to spill too much. Slightly spill over, and the day before the show we revert back to protein and fats, we pull the carbs right down, and here's where we get dry. Now you think about it, the glycogen stores are already filled. They're still spilling over into the day where we're drying out. So we still have everything's in the muscle, everything's there, it's parked in there, the tank's full, we don't need to worry about it. The day before the show we do very little activity, we run protein and fats, and here's where we can manipulate water slightly, manipulate sodium slightly, and push in a few different things like caffeine, different vitamins, vitamin C and different things, just to push a wee bit of extra natural diuresis out there, to push a wee bit of extra fluid out. And on this day of drying out, we don't run any carbs. Like, you don't, this is focused on purely drying out. Our carb load has been done. There's no need to panic about going back to zero carb. We've got fats in there to hold the physique. We've got high protein in there to push us out the races as well. And then it takes us into show day. So show day, again, a lot of people very, very grey area. They're not sure what to eat. It's a very simple process on show day, and there's no set foods of what you should and shouldn't eat. Again, it goes by luck. Like, how do you look on show day? If you wake up show day and you're still holding a wee bit of water, you're going, we could be drier, then you're going to opt for a high protein meal that morning. We're not going to put any carbs in yet. We're going to put a high protein meal in, leave it an hour, let's see how the physique looks. And obviously we keep water out as well. We'll keep water out. And let's see how the physique looks. Like, time it meal after meal and take a look at the physique. Like, if the physique wakes up and you're bone dry and a wee bit flat, put some carbs back in. Wee adjustments can be made, and trust me, we're already filled up in the muscle cells. It's all still there, and it's just ready to be used. So no rash decisions needs made show day. It's just a matter of see how you land, because like, there's no set rule of any physique. You're going to go, he's going to wake up like this. He wakes up, you assess the physique, and then you make the call. So that's the crack, guys, on peak week. That's my take on it. No voodoo tricks. Very, very simple process, and a process that's very, very bomb-proof. You know, if you've got a good eye for it. Like, obviously the values change, the days of fat load might change, the amount of days of carbs might change, all person dependent, but that's like a basic template of what I use, and what over the years of sheer experience, this works well, and it's tried and tested. So that's my views on it.